significance of that win? Forget the derby for a moment, for Liverpool after the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating couple of weeks. Liverpool were poised to have a phenomenal season. If they win the Premier League, it's still going to be fantastic, but with a little bit of a bitter taste because it was building into something special. And I think it hit Liverpool fans hard, and the manager and the players, of course, to go out of competitions in quick succession. So that's, the dust will settle. Everybody will realise that, if it's the Premier League at the end of the season that they win, and only the Premier League, that'll be an incredible season. And as I said earlier, they would have snapped your hand off for that at the start of the season. So, but it doesn't stop the feeling of the last few days or the last few weeks. And to get that winning feeling back will be really important for everybody connected with the club.
Yeah, because they've had a while to stew, if you like, haven't they, on those two big defeats?
And you can take that either way at times. Sometimes when you have defeats, you want to get back to the games and start winning as quickly as possible. But I do feel that it was a good thing for Liverpool to have the break after, it was, people described it as a taxing couple of days, taxing couple of weeks that they'd expended a lot of energy. They were using a lot of the similar players. I think they've used the second least amount of squad players this season to Nottingham Forest. So, he has demanded a lot of this team, and maybe that time away from each other before this run-in was exactly what the team needed. And I didn't think it was about performance for Liverpool tonight. I thought it was about result. Start this running in the right manner. Get this first result. Get this first 3 points in the bag. And it'll make every result that comes after it easy. And that's what they managed. Yeah.
Resilience that they've shown tonight when asked the question.
Yes. I mean, Everton did have one or two chances. But that's how Liverpool play sometimes. They play risky game. They're trying to, when you're playing against teams that just come and sit back, and fair play to Everton, they counter-attacked well. But in the main, they were trying to stay into it in a bit of a shape. And Liverpool had to be quite patient, sometimes take risks. Obviously, they played Curtis Jones as a right-back. That's a little bit of a risk, but they realised they were going to have a lot of the ball. So, that was a good performance. A clean sheet is very important, and obviously breaking any defence down when they sit back is not easy.
Well, of course, part of that clean sheet was the Liverpool captain, Virgil van Dijk, who is waiting to talk to us live now at Anfield. Good to see you, Virgil. Well done. Congratulations. Derby win. How significant does that feel?
Very. And, obviously it was important to get the win. It was always going to be a difficult game against them. And obviously it showed, I think, the first half we weren't at our best. Second half, I think we showed why we deserved the 3 points.
Yeah, and a bit of a character test for you all tonight, which you've come through.
I think, of course, it's a character test. You play the Merseyside derby, and these games are special for both sides. And obviously, we've seen the games over the years how difficult it can be. And you saw it today as well, especially in the first half, where I think when we lost the ball a couple of times, and we were quite open, and we had to shore that up in the second half, and I think we did. And obviously, like I said, we will deserve 3 points based on the second half, especially.
Virgil, it's Michael Owen. Well played tonight on the clean sheet and the victory. I'm just thinking, in terms of the season so far, if you'd said at the start of the season you're going to win the Premier League, I'm sure everybody would have been over the moon. However, it was building into something really special. How hard was it after a couple of big defeats in cup competitions to sort of get your mind tuned back into the Premier League and to finish the season well?
So you're suggesting that this season is not going to be special anymore?
It will be, absolutely. Well, it will be special. But I thought it could have been building into something very special.
I think we have to change that narrative a little bit. I think we're fighting for the biggest prize of the season. We work so hard for it. That 20 teams are working so hard to try and be on top of the Premier League. And you have 8 games to go. We know what's at stake, and we have to go for it. We have to fight. We have to enjoy the whole ride. And then let's see. I think, like I said, it's still looking very special in my eyes. I think what you said at the start of the season, I think no one expected us to even try and fight for all 4 fronts at the start of the season. Obviously, we at the stage now where we're still fighting for the biggest, and that's the reality. So it's still a possibility that this season will be very, very special.
Virgil, you had 9 games to go after this international break. Did you feel this was the most important game to get back into winning ways quickly as possible?
Of course, like any game after disappointment, you want to obviously win. You want to show what we're all about, and obviously the final was very disappointing for many reasons. Then obviously everyone goes to their respective countries and play different football, different questions are asked from you, and you have to be ready when you come back. And I think we had a good couple of days training before this, and I think second half showed why we deserved today, I think, the 3 points in my opinion.
And you always have goals all round the team, but I know he's gone a few without one. But Diogo Jota is a scorer of big, significant goals for you, isn't he?
Yeah, listen, I think everyone has to try and contribute in goals, and obviously we all know that Jota can make a difference in that sense. Obviously he's a bit unlucky in some ways, but today obviously he's very important with that goal. I think he was very sharp in and around the box, and he was lively on the ball, and I think we already could have seen it in training, so maybe the international break helped him a little bit, and now for him it's just to crack on, keep going.
And that's finally what the team have to do. You need 13 points maximum to get your hands on that trophy. Just keep ticking them off, do you, like tonight?
Yeah, listen, like you said, we have 8. Like I said, we have 8 more games. We have to recover now, and then we go to London on Saturday, and have to be ready for a difficult one at Fulham. I think we over the last couple of years we've never had an easy game there, so it won't be easy then again. But something we have to look forward to, and try to get one step closer to a special season.
Or very special, whichever way you want to describe it. Virgil, we love it. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much, guys. All the best.
All the best. Liverpool captain
Bye-bye.
Virgil van Dijk at Anfield. Special or very special? How are you describing it?
I stand by what I said. I mean, if you'd said at the start of the season that Liverpool are going to win the Premier League, it's a very, very top season. I mean, that's... And as Virgil said, not many fans, not many people give them the chance, really, especially changing their manager and after so long of Jurgen Klopp being there. However, it was building into something incredibly special. And I just wondered whether, you know, after a couple of weekends or a couple of weeks of disappointment, you know, how hard was it to refocus? But obviously he gave us the answer.
And believe me, when you stand next to Virgil van Dijk, you do not.
Well, that's why I asked him from this distance away. If I was stood by, I wouldn't have asked him.
Had we been Matchday Live on the road, I'm not so sure you would have been quite as right next to him. But anyway, I was talking to you about Jota there. I mean, I know he's gone 10 games in all competitions without a goal. He's had his injury problems, but you call him a killer in front of goal. You actually think he's Liverpool's most natural finisher at times, don't you? 4 moments like we saw tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he danced through the defence there, didn't he? One off his left foot, one off his right foot, and then Jordan Pickford almost went early. He didn't need to find a corner, but this is lovely. Takes one touch in his right, then when his left, and then it opens it all out. But it's, as I say, his balance, his touch, going through there, Leon, it was pretty special.
Yeah, I think Everton are unfortunate just in the sense that, you know, Tarkowski has to go for this ball. He thinks that Luis Diaz is there and the centre-halves are split, but that's the space that Diogo Jota takes advantage of. I mean, as you said, dances through there, lovely little bit of skill, the way he can dribble with both feet. And once it all opened up for him, I think we all just expected to see the ball into the back of the goal, didn't we? You say he's a natural finisher, and you know, just waited for Jordan Pickford to go down, basically, and went the other way.
Yeah, I mean, just picking up on Leon's point there, Diaz does quite well, actually, not to make any move to the ball, because if he does, then he's offside, isn't he? But you just wonder, I suppose, whether Tarkowski wouldn't dive in like that if he wasn't in an offside position. So could you say he is affecting the play?
Yeah, well,
offside?
You know, it's a grey area because Everton were defensively solid for the majority of this game. They didn't give too many major chances away that Jordan Pickford had to save. But in that one moment, they left themselves stretched and exposed because they had to defend a ball that, in hindsight, didn't need defending because Diaz is offside. So it's a frustrating one. By the letter of the law, it is a goal because, you know, Tarkowski went for it and had the opportunity to clear it. But I just wonder if he'd have realised that Diaz was offside, could he have just let that ball go through and suddenly they're not exposed? However, from that moment, Diogo Jota took complete advantage of it, finished it brilliantly. And I did think that Liverpool probably deserved to win the game because I didn't think Everton were ruthless enough when their chances came.
OK, let's get some Everton reaction from the man involved in that goal, or with that sliding challenge. Here he is, the captain, James Tarkowski.
James, you come away with nothing, but you made it very difficult for Liverpool. You couldn't give them much more, could you?
No, we weren't great on the ball. We didn't move it well enough. They pressured us well, and we sort of just give it back a lot of the time. We made a couple of good chances. One for Beto. I've just seen the goal back, and it's offside. So that's the decider of the game, which is for me not a goal that should have been given. So we didn't perform well, but we stuck high, defended pretty well for most of the game, and they say they get gifted a goal, which never should be.
Just to spell it out then, so you think Luis Diaz should be offside because you've had to make the play to stop the ball going through to him?
Well, I wasn't aware he's offside, so I have to play the ball like he's onside. I end up lunging for the ball because I think he might try and nick in front. So he's affected my decision to play, and if he's stood in offside position, then surely that's a deciding factor. I wasn't aware at the time until when Jared told me, and for some reason, whatever that might be, they've decided to give them the goal, which is bizarre.
The other big decision that involved you in the game was a yellow card for your challenge on Alexis McAllister. Did you think that was the correct decision? I mean, what was going through your mind in that challenge?
Yeah, I spoke to him. I apologised because it's not a great effort and caught him pretty high. So I've apologised to him and he's accepted it. So yeah, not a great one for me.
Well, that's very honest of James Tarkowski. We'll come to the tackle later on. But first of all, he's adamant he doesn't think that goal should be given. And you've heard his explanation in terms of why he made the decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. That's the first thing he wants to talk about. I've noticed it myself. We've talked about it, me and Michael, that it's just a grey area in the game now. I've heard referees' explanation of the rule, and if a defender has an opportunity to touch and clear the ball, then the player's deemed not to be interfering with play. However, James Tarkowski has to go for the ball. He can't just wonder if he's offside, Diaz. He has to go for the ball, and in doing so, he's on the stretch. He's not able to make a proper clearance. He's in a position where, as I said, he's leaving the defenders exposed. And yeah, he's definitely interfered with James Tarkowski's decision to go and defend the ball. So it's a tough
let me
one.
clear this up for you. We understand that because Diaz hasn't made any deliberate attempt to go for the ball, then therefore he is not offside.
And that's the first point I made. Diaz does exceptionally well not to get tempted to. He knows he's offside. I think he knows he's offside. Otherwise, he would definitely go for it. But Gravenberch plays him the ball. There's nobody else anywhere near. So, I mean, in terms of the pass, Gravenberch is very deliberate in where he's going to pass it to. It's not like anyone can say, oh no, he was going there or there. It was going to Diaz. And Tarkowski's obviously had to intercept it. I mean, as a defender, that's just a natural instinct to dive and to nip in front of him.
And as he says, he has to lunge forward because he has to think that Diaz is onside and he has to beat him to the ball. He can't just wait and see. He has to step out front, which makes it, he can't clear it in a manner that he would just be able to hoof it up the pitch. He's had to nip in front, and in doing so, he's not been able to make the clearance that he would desire. But you're right, it's clever play from the Liverpool striker.
I really feel sorry for Tarkowski there, and Everton in many ways, because there is very little that they can do in that situation. You can't say to Tarkowski, "Oh no, don't get it." That's just instinct to try to stop it going to. So they've done everything right. They've pushed up. They've got a high line. They've got somebody offside. The ball's gone to that guy, and they've managed to block it. So they've absolutely done nothing wrong at all. Yet the rules of the game suggest that it's correct to give the goal. So it's a harsh one, and one that they'll be licking the wounds over, I think.
Yeah, I mean, frustrating. I said, because Everton defended ever so well in the game. They didn't give an awful lot of way. They blocked clearance. I don't remember Jordan Pickford having to push many efforts around the post or really make saves. As a team, yes, it was backs to the wall, and it was defending for the majority, certainly of the second half. But they never give an awful lot of chances I thought Liverpool should have scored in. So, to have left yourself exposed in a moment where you feel that you've been harshly treated, I can see the frustration.
Yeah, Liverpool just 3 attempts on target in the game, but 1, as we've seen, in the back of the net. Right, let's hear from the man who's still not won a game at Anfield in 23 attempts as a manager, the Everton boss, David Moyes.
David, you knew it was always going to be a difficult challenge tonight, coming here to Anfield, facing Liverpool in the position that they're in as well. Was it a challenge too far for you, do you feel?
I think we were a lot closer to them tonight in the 2 games than possibly when I came into the club I expected. I thought over the 2 games we've given them a really good game. Certainly the first one with a draw tonight was really tight, and you know, there's an offside goal which they get. So that's the difference in the game tonight.
That offside goal, then, you have spoken to the match officials. In the build of that goal, you clearly feel it was offside, should have been ruled out. I
do. I think the players behind Tarkowski interferes with them, clearing it. It's a clear offside. I think it's a very easy decision to give. I can't understand any reason why that wouldn't have been given offside. None at all.
In the first half, though, you had a decision that perhaps felt you were lucky that went your way with James Tarkowski and McAllister. How do you feel? What was your view of that?
My first thought was it was a brilliant tackle for a derby game, and tackle that maybe we would have seen a few years ago. But I understand that nowadays there's things slightly different with follow-throughs, etc. So yeah, we might have got a bit lucky, but that doesn't make. Don't be sort of putting that with the goal, you know, because the goal was a different incident, which actually, you know, won Liverpool the game in the end.
And in the first half, you two could have had a goal with Beto through, struck the post, and he did prove to be quite a handful, didn't he, in the first half?
Look, we had a few chances, but look, we're not kidding ourselves on. You know, Liverpool were the better team. There's no hiding the fact, but that's why they're top of the league, and we've not been in that position. But I think we showed great resilience, stuck at it, done a lot of really good things, made some chances. That one, what you're talking about, and you know, it's just a bit gut wrenching when you feel as if the end result was come from some which we didn't think was deserved.
But right at the very end as well, you showed how much you wanted to get something out of this game by throwing everybody, albeit Mikalenko, but throwing everybody up for that corner right at the very end, that set piece.
Look, we're trying to get something out of the game. We were desperate to get something out of the game. We've been on a great run. The players have been doing brilliantly well. This is the first defeat in 10 games. So yeah, I thought no, Liverpool were better, but I thought we tried to close the gap in their levels to our levels tonight, and I thought for long periods we'd done a good job at it.
Just going back to those incidents and the two that you mentioned, and there were other incidents as well, it just kind of felt a little bit messy.
Yeah, so was the first game a little bit. It's good, you know, that maybe you know, Liverpool are sort of thinking about Everton a little bit more than maybe in the past, and hopefully in the future they'll have to think a lot more about us. But look, at the moment they're the best team in the league, and you know, their performance tonight was good, but we really stuck at it, and maybe a little bit unfortunate not to get something out of it.
And the run that you were on before coming into this match, you want to, despite the defeat, keep that uplift, that vibe that you've brought since you've been back at Everton, and keep that going and finish the season as strongly as you can.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to the games, what we've got. We're in a difficult period of games, but in a way I think I want to see how the team can deal with it. I thought tonight we've done a lot of things not as well as we should have done, but we also done some good things and showed why for long periods this season we've not conceded too many goals. But we've now got other big tests coming as well, so we're looking forward to them.
Yeah, the big test just around the corner, actually. That's Saturday lunchtime.
Yeah, it comes quick, doesn't it?
Well, go well. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that, of course, is second place Arsenal for Everton on Saturday. Right, let's deal with a couple of incidents he was talking about there. James Tarkowski's tackle after 11 minutes. We've heard the Everton captain say he apologised to McAllister. I don't think there's anybody we've spoken to in football who thinks this isn't a red card.
No, I mean, even, you know, James Tarkowski admitted it wasn't the best tackle he's ever made. I think he had a reasonable explanation for it, though, that he thought he was going into a fully committed challenge from both people, but McAllister's just trying to block the ball. He's not actually going in for a tackle in the end, so it means that what James Tarkowski's doing looks really, really, really poor.
So the question is, Michael, those images you're watching now, if you were in VAR, how have they come to the conclusion that's still only a yellow card?
I have no idea. I mean, that is as clear a red card as I've seen for a long time, I feel. I mean, he's out of control, both feet off the ground, dangerous, with force. They say when you slow things down, every tackle can look bad. Well, that looks terrible in any speed you want to play it. I mean, you get away with that in our day.
I was just about to say, as David Moyes touched on, it was, if I got myself in that trouble back in the day, I'd be getting told it was my fault. But that's just not the way the game is anymore. It's not in the game. So the players are to be protected from that kind of tackle. And that's a tackle that I'm actually really surprised that wasn't a red card, wasn't VAR involved, and there's no place for it in the game anymore.
And the other incident is what we're talking about, the fine margins in front of goal, the great chance that Beto had.
Yeah, I mean, Everton had a couple of opportunities. There was the offside by, a margin, we're talking inches when Beto actually put it in. And this one that kind of created for himself in this moment. Van Dijk had a swing and a miss. And in that moment, he's actually been decent at these in his little run of games since David Moyes come in, getting through 1v1, being played in. And I don't think he does an awful lot wrong except misses the target. It's a good connection. He sends the keeper down. He puts it pretty much where he wants. But for Everton to get something out of this game, they have to take those chances. They have to take the opportunities when they came along. And, his face there says it all. That was a moment missed for Everton.
Yeah, I mean, it's an average finish. He does bits right. He gets a little bit high. I think you've got to give it a little bit of lift in that situation. But when you picture a goalkeeper going down like that, the highest part of his body is this part. His legs stay low, and so if you're going to go high, you go that. And with you being look at the right hand side of the goal there, you've got so much to aim at. If you go high, you can hit it in the right corner. In fact, you can even hit it in the middle of the goal. When you're pulling it to the left there, you've got to go over the high point of the goalkeeper's dive. And that's obviously him in this situation. The only thing he did right there was give it a little bit of lift. And let's get it right. I mean, he has scored a few goals in recent weeks, but he's an average finisher. I mean, his game is about bustling and giving the defence a tough time. And if he can nick a few goals, then great. And he has scored one or two one-on-ones in the past few weeks. But in general, he's not a great finisher. And I do think that you did one thing right there, but probably another one or two wrong.
I don't think... I mean, when you went through on goal, you were looking at the keeper and picking your spot. I don't think he does that. I think he goes through, head down. He knows where the keeper is, but I think he's picked his spot early. I don't think he's waiting for the goalkeeper to go down. There was a chance at Brentford a couple of weeks back. He went the other way. He went over the keeper's left side. I think it was, well, I've done that one. I'm going to go this way this time. And, the keeper guesses right. It makes you maybe move it a little bit more, maybe lift it a bit more.
But that's the thing with finishing. A lot of it's repetition. And you have to understand what goalkeepers are going to do. What is the natural thing for them to do in a situation? And then you play off that. So when you're running through, you've got an idea what you're going to do. Unless the goalkeeper does something so wrong, he might get his angles wrong. He might come charging out. He might do something that's not norm. And then you have to make a decision. But in general, the repetition tells you that if everything just goes smoothly here, he tends to dive this way, he'll go then, and that's when you play the percentages, and high and right, because if you're right-footed, you will naturally get... So you're giving yourself much more room for manoeuvre, much more wriggle room. So that was the disappointing thing. He could have scored, but he has to be so precise to score, making that finish that he chose.
So, Virgil, you can just feel in and around the tunnel area just how important that win is for Liverpool tonight.
Yeah, massive, of course, not only because it's a derby, but because of this international break. We have this run-in of 9 games, and it was really important to start with 3 points, and hopefully that gives us momentum for the rest of the season.
It did seem to lack a little bit of spark, though, didn't it, Virgil, in the first half and up until the second? What was the reason behind that in the first half, the rhythm of the game?
You play against Everton, they make it very difficult for you, and obviously we've seen the games that we played against each other over the last couple of years. It's always been tough, and they have a certain way of playing that you have to be ready for in all aspects. And so yeah, the first half obviously was not our greatest. Obviously we kept the clean sheet, that's the most important thing, and obviously Jota made a fantastic goal, and we kept a clean sheet overall, and 3 points, so we move on.
Did you feel there was a little bit of a hangover as well because of what happened at Goodison Park back in February and the manner of that game?
No, not at all. Not at all. We didn't even watch many clips of that game, to be absolutely honest with you. We know this game is always going to be tough, and today it was the same. We're very direct, second ball fight. Let us have the ball quite a lot, and obviously then on the break they can punish you, and could have done as well in the first half. But we stayed in the game and well deserved 3 points.
How much did you enjoy that goal, Diogo? It's been a while. Did you feel that one had been coming?
Yeah, of course. I always believe in myself. I always believe that the chances will come, and I need to be there to take them. Hopefully, this game starts a good run as well for me. That could be helpful for the team. But like I said, the 3 points was really the most important today.
Yeah, you say a good run for you, but more importantly, a good one for the team, because you know what's at stake, you know what you can do. You're within 13 points maximum now of this Premier League title.
Yeah, the only way is to keep winning games. Like I said, it was really important to start well today, this run-in, and give this team confidence to keep on going.
Virgil, did you feel Everton were lucky to finish with 10 men on the pitch, 10 players on the pitch?
I don't know. It is what it is. You know, it was. We couldn't. The referee and the VAR make decisions, and we all have to deal with it, and that's it.
You know how difficult, though, this run-in can be. You know how difficult these matches can be as well. But that's the challenge when you want to be Premier League winners, isn't it?
Of course, I think everyone wants to be in our position, and we work so hard to be in our position. And now we have to keep going, keep the same focus, keep the same mentality as we have been doing the whole season. The season so far has been outstanding, and we just have to keep going. And we have a tough one again in London on Sunday that we have to be ready for, and that will be the focus right now.
And you know also how hard it is to win these Player of the Match awards. And tonight it is Diogo. You scored the goal. You won in the Merseyside derby. Would you like to do the honours?
Of course. Well deserved, brother.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, thank you.
Arne, that just didn't feel an important win. It felt a huge win in the circumstances, coming back off back-to-back defeats against your local rivals, Everton, at Anfield.
Yeah, and against a very, very, very difficult team to play against because of their playing style. And that's not only for us, that's for every team, because they were 9 times in a row unbeaten. We've experienced this when we played them. So very good manager has brought them back to life, and very, very difficult team to play against. The amount of shots they blocked, the effort they put in to defend inside their own box, and then of course a threat on the counter-attack with every ball they have. They play long throw-ins. Oh, it's so difficult to play against them. But our boys showed immense character today. I think we've created more than we did in the away game. We were much more in the final third than we were in the away game. And in the end, we scored a good goal and kept a clean sheet.
Once you scored that goal, you kind of had that momentum with you that maybe you didn't have in the first half, because you could feel the frustration, a bit of edginess in and around the stadium.
Yeah, that I don't know, but I like much more what I saw than the away game. So I think Lucio was 15, 20 times in a 1v1 situation with their fullback, where in the away game, yeah, we only played the ball from Virgil to Ibu, from Virgil to Ibu. So I could feel that we were getting closer and closer and closer. But yeah, it's for a reason that they hardly ever concede a goal, hardly ever concede a chance, because they bring so many bodies back around their 18-yard box. And they've got players who are really well in blocking the shots, and it's of no use of bringing a high cross in, because their centre-backs are so good in defending that. So, yeah, for us, in the end, we knew that if we wanted to win this game, we had to keep a clean sheet, and yeah, scoring more than 1 goal would have been very hard, and that's why I'm so happy with that the 1 goal led to a win.
A lot of incident, though, in that match, wasn't there? Especially, well, throughout the game, but in the first half, early in the first half, James Tarkowski, Alexis McAllister. First of all, is Alexis okay?
Yeah, he is, because he kept on playing, so I assume he's okay. And he's used to something because he's from South America. But yeah, I think everybody has said something about it, so why should I add something to it? It's so obvious that it's not necessary for me to comment. Everyone else did, and I would prefer to talk about Diogo's goal or Curtis Jones' performance or something else than about the red card incident.
I know that, but it could have been a serious injury.
Could have been, but wasn't, fortunately. And he was lucky with that, yeah.
With Diogo's goal, do you feel it's been a long time coming? It's been quite a while since he's been on the score sheet. He's waited a long time for that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did, and I think they were already in the game. In the first half, there was a moment where he was in a similar position, and again, they blocked the shot. I think before the goal or after the goal, he was again in the same position, and they blocked the shot. So it's not, again, it's not easy to score against them, but great goal. Nice to see that I just saw when I was inside my room, that according to the rules, it was a goal as well, so no one can complain about that.
there had been question marks over that as well.
There's always question marks if a goal, but the good thing is we've got rules, and the rules tells us that at least that's what they just showed on television, that it's a clear goal. Where I would be frustrated if I conceded, but then I'm frustrated about the rule and not about the execution of the rule, but because the execution of the rule was perfect from the referee. But the rule in itself is frustrating because I think you always have to help, in my opinion, the offensive team. And if some team wants to play a high press, which Everton doesn't do, but keep a high line, and if then someone is in offside position, you would love to see it as being offside, but that's not the rules. The people that make the rules are not there for the love of the game, they are just there for making the rules.
But it's a goal that puts you within 13 points maximum now of this Premier League title that you are chasing down.
Yeah, we are chasing down the best possible season we can have, and Everton showed today again how difficult it is to win a football game in the Premier League. And we know that we're going to face 8 very tough challenges. But as long as the players give as much as they did today, and if we play home games, the fans give us as much as they did today, we are in a very good position.
They certainly are. Remember, a maximum of 13 points Liverpool need to secure the title from those last 8 games. And that's if Arsenal win every game. What a situation to be in at the beginning of April.
Yeah, of course. I mean, 4 wins, a draw and 3 defeats. I mean, and they win the league. They're going to do it now, aren't they? I mean, you can't see them losing 3 games. Well, they haven't lost 3 games all season. No. So, yeah, big win tonight. Really big win. Off the back of some disappointments against a team in form that were always going to make it difficult. In a derby match, you know, it wasn't easy tonight. It wasn't a foregone conclusion. And it's big. It's a big win. And now I do feel, and I think the fans felt it tonight as well, and the players, you could see in the celebrations and the manager's celebrations, it just feels that that was the one. That was the one that actually made them believe, yeah, this is ours now.
Yeah, and probably adversely, if you were watching in your front room as an Arsenal player tonight with that flicker of hope that maybe Everton might win tonight and just give it, then that's probably gone out as well.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of Arsenal fans calling that an offside goal today, isn't there? Claiming, trying to get behind David Moyes and Everton. But yeah, it just seems like it's a bridge too far now for Arsenal. I think that Arsenal may have just ebbed away tonight, and Liverpool could potentially win this by, you know, that Leicester game, certainly by the Spurs game. I don't see it going any further than that before Liverpool win this title. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Arsenal, of course, are at Goodison next, and of course they've got to play Liverpool at Anfield as well, Michael. So
yeah, I mean, it's uphill now, isn't it, for Arsenal? They're looking at their game with Liverpool and think, right, we have to win that, and you're almost parking it as if they're going to win that and then trying to work out the rest of it. But I just think, as I say, most people thought it was over anyway. But I think when you're a player, when you're a manager, when you're one of the fans, you're a little bit cautious and just thinking, you know, you're trying to do the permutations. But I think after tonight, even the most pessimistic of Liverpool fan will be thinking, yeah, we've got hold of that trophy now.
And just to point out, at Anfield, they've still only lost 1 league game under Arne Slot, and we're in April.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, that place is just a fortress, isn't it? It has been for a long time. I remember there was a period of time, wasn't there, of 10 games or something. I think, was it during COVID or anyway, there was a period of games when they just couldn't win and they lost a few on the spin at Anfield. But apart from that, over the last 10 years or something, it must be one of the most difficult stadiums to go to in world football, let alone in the Premier League. When they're playing well, it is virtually impossible to beat them at Anfield, virtually. And there's just no chance, in my eyes, that they can lose 3 games out the last 8. They're just too good a team.
Mm. Well, I didn't like to bring up the fact that you never won there either. I mean, you know how firsthand how hard it is to go there.
Thanks, Steve.
And get a victory.
I do, yes. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Yeah, it's a tough place to go. No, there's no doubt
to even
about
it out. He never scored there in a derby.
It was
1-1. So
it was always a tough place to go. The crowd make the atmosphere incredible. It's Liverpool always raise the game because it is a big game for Liverpool to play in as well, and it's a great occasion to play in. Unfortunately for us, fortunately for Liverpool, they've always come out more on top in that game. And You know, Dave Moyes talked about it tonight as well, that the gap is really big at the moment. There's no getting away from Liverpool are the best team in the league this season, and, you know, that they're going to be impossible to overtake at this point.
The big question is it a special season or a very special season?
Hey, he's having a pop at us tonight, isn't he? Hey?
I didn't have a pop at you. The Liverpool captain did. Big difference. Yeah.